Hi, so welcome to another episode of Astrology and Beyond with the Sky Whisperers. I'm Alison, and this is my friend Terry. And today we're really excited to have for in we're on our to interview. It's all going wrong today. Aswin Subramanyan, who is an astrologer who comes from Chennai in India. And we've got so many questions to ask him. And the first one that we already asked, but we're going to ask again so you can hear his answer, was just a little word about the difference between Jyotish and Vedic astrology, because I didn't know whether they were the same or different. So thanks, Ashwin, if you could just explain that to us.
Before that, thank you very much for having me, Terry and Alison. It's lovely to be with you both. And Jyotish itself is a common word for astrology and astronomy, which can also be called a science of light. So it's in modern day, it's basically used as an alternate Hindu or Hindi term for astrology itself in India.
Right.
And the Westerners who learned Indian astrology or Jyotish in the early 20th century coined this term called Vedic astrology, which actually is very perfect in many ways.
Okay.
I kind of move around between Indian astrology, Vedic astrology, Jyotish. Jyotisha is more Sanskrit, very appropriate and accurate.
Okay.
Jyotish is Hindi, which doesn't have that final A. But yeah, Jyotisha is Sanskrit.
And presumably they took Vedic from the Vedas and the ancient
Yes.
traditions of India. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So we'll stick with Jyotish. We don't want to go down the colonial route today, I don't think. But you're not just about Jyotish astrology, are you? You're also deeply kind of involved in Hellenistic astrology, and you have training, I think, in all kinds of different different backgrounds of astrology. So maybe you
Persian
could tell us a
astrology
bit
as well,
about
I
that.
think,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Persian.
Persian astrology, yeah.
Fortunately, so I started Indian astrology because I come from a family of astrologers. Like my maternal family is full of astrologers. Wherever you turn around, it's astrologer. So
Okay.
my grandfather, my great uncles, a lot of my uncles practice. I mean, only two or three people practice astrology, but everyone literally knows.
Mm.
It's a common language at home in my maternal
Okay.
family. So I'm likely kind of fifth or sixth generation of an astrologer.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So that's that apart. But to answer your question, I started in 2010 and 11, and around 2017 or 18, I got exposed to Hellenistic astrology.
Okay.
And then I stumbled upon Benjamin Dykes' works. So
Yeah.
Benjamin Dykes is one teacher I never had, but he's still kind of a big influence in my life as an astrologer, because if not for his translations, I don't think I would have dived as deep into the medieval Persian tradition. But I think every translation is available today, and we are living in one of the finest periods in history in terms of accessibility of texts.
Mm.
So we have everything, like starting from Menelaus, Valens, Ptolemy, Firmicus, Paulus, Rhetorius, and I mean, just name it. You have astrologers in every century, and at least a lot of texts are available in each and every century, which makes it easier for us to kind of go back and study our own roots of the astrological traditions.
Mm.
And yeah, thanks to everyone who made it available. And really thanks to the likes of Benjamin Dykes, Stephen Birchfield, Sharon Knight,
Yeah.
and many other people. I mean, I don't want to name and offend anyone, but Chris Brennan, who himself has pioneered a lot of traditions. But I've learned from a lot of people, Anthony Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
for instance. So it's so much of work is there. So I had this fortune of having this ability to kind of formally or informally study with a lot of people and be there in the crux of the tradition. And even though not physically, but I had access to a lot of texts, which made it easier for me to kind of explore the three ancient traditions, Indian, Greek, and Persian, which I feel I'm very humbled and lucky to kind of have touched at least.
Yeah,
So someone like me would be coming probably, sorry, Terry, through the Greek tradition, I suppose, with the Faculty of Astrological Studies and, classical Western, if you like, sort of astrology. And so the Jyotish, I kind of understand, but the Persian tradition, what do we get from that? What's coming into astrology from the Persian tradition?
Persian tradition is basically an extension of Hellenistic tradition. The As we know, Hellenistic astrology started kind of developing very seriously around first century BC, and it flourished around first, second century CE with the likes of Marcus Manilius, Dorotheus, Valens, Ptolemy, etc., and etc. And by the time we reached the fourth century, the Roman Empire fell, and there were some fragmentations and distortions in terms of the overall economic and the national situation itself was not as easy for people to live. But still, luckily, not some of the, a lot of the texts were translated into the medieval tradition around 6th and 7th century. Moving on to 8th, 9th century, we had a lot of Persian Islamic astrologers with Rhetorius, the Egyptian, kind of playing this middle ground by being this astrologer within the transitionary period of the history changing from the Roman Greek to medieval Persia and then transitioning into Islam.
Oh,
so
wow, okay.
The astrology of MashaAllah, Umar al-Tabari, Abu Bakr, Abu Ali, Sahal bin Bashir, Abu Mashar, al-Balki. So all these astrologers, and then if you go to 11th century, there is Abi al-Rijal. So it just keeps going on. And these astrologers contributed immensely to not just the growth of Hellenistic astrology, but also the preservation of Hellenistic astrology in terms of translations from Greek texts to Arabic. And then
I think that
eventually...
there is a lot of, I think, probably, sorry for cutting your word. I mean, it's like when you look at the development of civilizations, etc., how which civilizations were more dominant on the world stage, I think is very much going along together with astrology. I mean, like seeing the from Egyptian, the antique Egypt, etc., and then coming to Greeks, and then after that with the rise of Islam and Arab world, Arabic texts, etc., coming, and then they are going into dark, and there is medieval area, and then you go to the Enlightenment, etc. And I think it's all, you see that reflection on astrology and impact as well, right?
Yes, that's right. Perfect. That's accurate way of putting, because it would have been very easy to lose the Greek texts, but the Muslims really kind of played a very, very crucial role in preserving all the Greek texts, and they just did not preserve it, but they kind of advanced it. They kind of improvised everything. So what we have is a full-fledged astrology in the during the Islamic golden era from 700s to 1200s. But again, the 1200s was basically the beginning of the late medieval Latin Europe, where the Arabic texts were translated into Latin and some into Spanish as well, which kind of made its way into late medieval Europe, which again played an important role in preservation of the earlier texts, starting from the first century of the Common Era, at least. If we don't go back to the Babylonians or Mesopotamians or the early Indians who wrote Vedanga Jyotisha. So, and again, the reason why it's becoming a historical episode, but I like talking about this.
That's
But please
fine.
stop me.
We're listening. We're interested. You're
Yeah.
telling us, yeah. I mean,
So, but again, for me, the Islamic Empire was really important because they kind of accessed Greek texts, but they also had this real good access to the Indian texts.
Yeah.
So there is this recorded history in the 700s after the foundation of Baghdad, where astrologer Kanaka from India, um, he he kind of went to a gathering which happened in medieval Baghdad, which was the capital or cultural center of astrology, astronomy, science, mathematics, technology,
Mhm.
philosophy,
mhm.
religion, etc., and etc. It was this kind of the ancient Alexandria or Ujjain in India,
Okay.
similar to kind of it was the most happening place at that point. And he kind of went there for one gathering of astrologers, and he kind of most likely took some of the texts from India, and he also kind of had access to some of the Arabic material, and he brought some texts to India, and the Muslims also translated some of the texts from Sanskrit, which included astronomy, mathematics, and astrology. So one of the references that we can find in terms of astrological texts is Abu Mashar's use of the ninth parts or the Navamsa in his uh, master treatise on solar revolutions,
Okay.
which is the light green book by Ben Dykes.
Yeah.
Persian Nativities 4, if anyone is interested in. So you'll find
Mm.
Yeah.
traces of Indian uh, tradition as well. So they played a very, very crucial role in being this bridge between the Greeks and the Indians. And as a result of that, we have a lot of texts available today. And again, courtesy of all the translators,
Mm.
but more importantly, Ben Dykes and
Mm.
Levant Laszlo from Hungary is also doing a lot of translation work. Dr. Ali Olomi is doing a lot of translation work as well. So all these people are like stupendous in terms of being torchbearers who make all these texts available for us, and which kind of makes us feel like we know something in terms
Mm.
of what we are talking about. Otherwise, we are basically shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
But I just think it's amazing the picture that you've painted of this kind of exchange of ideas and that
Yes,
you know and of texts and over vast distances when basically people were going by camel or by by
yes,
cart or however it was that they kind of traveled these distances and it's astonishing really, and you can imagine the marketplaces or perhaps the big castles or things where these libraries might have been held and
exactly.
it's I just
Trade
think
was always there probably during that all this trade going on, etc. I think that was how
yeah,
the probably all these
exactly.
exchanges were
Yeah.
happening. And also, I mean, like you stop by and in, and then you may end up in the middle of a like a very, I mean, like intellectual argument as well.
Yes.
Probably, I think it was a very interesting periods in those times. If you think about it, yeah,
Or
it's
you're
quite
carrying
interesting.
silk or something, and then someone gives you an astrology book to take with you, sort of, oh, take that to London or whatever, or probably not London, but maybe Athens or something like that. Right.
No,
Istanbul,
I
yeah.
mean, don't underestimate. London had their astrology in 10th, 11th century. It's recorded. Uh, uh,
Okay.
Chris Chris Mitchell, Dr. Chris Mitchell from
Oh, yes, Chris.
UK
Yes, yes.
translated the book of uh, oh my God, I forgot the astrologer's name. It's such a shame, but 12th century book. He did his
Not that
PhD
famous.
thesis on this, and which is a record for us to understand that there was some form of astrology that was borrowed from, uh, you know, I mean, as originated from the Ptolemaic or pre-Ptolemaic traditions, moving
Hmm.
into Arabic and then from Latin. So yeah,
Right. Okay.
so yeah.
Wow. So you started sort of at home at the kitchen table or whatever it was, or sitting outside, or because it's India, so maybe you were outside a bit more than we were because it wasn't raining quite so much. And and your family are just kind of astrologers in the general conversation, which in itself is pretty amazing. I mean, there was never in my I mean, Terry, you grew up with
Yeah, I
astrology,
grew up
mom.
in a house with astrology, so it's like it is unusual. I mean, I think for I mean, it's not unusual, but it was unusual for the time that I was born. I think that there wasn't probably much astrology going in the houses either. But I think in India the thing is that, of course, I mean, for Ashwin may say that that's not what we are doing, but I used to watch some series on Netflix, Auntie Sima, that she would matchmaking all this. But I think their astrology is very important because they really
Yes.
lay down their charts
Mm.
and look everything.
Okay.
They look at the synastry and all the stuff, and then they look at the future, and it's really important. What do you say about this, Ashwin? I mean, like, it's
Quite a
really
good
amazing.
idea.
It's a very important part of the culture here. So,
Yeah.
I mean, before we move on, the book that talks about the 11th or 12th century astrology in England is Roger of Hereford's Judicial Astrology,
Okay.
England's first astrology book. That's
Roger
the
of Hereford, was that?
Hereford,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Mm.
yeah, that's the book. But again, going back to the culture itself, yeah, India has accepted astrology as an integral part of the culture, and it
Mm.
always has been. Like there was no real change. PhDs do astrology here. Doctors practice astrology. But still, having said that, there is also a section of people who ridicule astrology. It's
Right.
everywhere, just like every other place, but it's much less here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but
Mm.
anyway, it's part of the culture here. Like people use it for making important decisions. People use it to understand the nature and quality of their immediate future. For example, parents kind of walk into an astrologer's house or office and just kind of get the chart done,
Mm.
and they kind of note down a lot of important periods in the child's life. And the moment a baby is born, they kind of write down the exact time when the baby is born, and immediately they get in touch with an astrologer, and the astrologer writes the chart.
Okay.
And there is a booklet, kind of something very similar to this. People have this very, I don't know, it's not visible, but people have very small booklet where charts are written by the astrologer, and it's kept as a lifelong record. Uh, and they consult astrologers at different points in time. For example, parents go and visit an astrologer and kind of look at the chart and make decisions about which field of study is good.
Mm.
That's a very good place to start. And people don't make decisions without having an astrologer's opinion. It's considered very valuable. So
That seems so like such a good way to go. Yeah,
it
but
is.
is it? Am I right in thinking it's much more concrete, a little bit more like Hellenistic astrology than you would actually find in? I mean, you maybe see the sort of psychological astrology that is often practiced in the West as a little bit woolly, perhaps opening up too many possibilities. Perhaps you would argue more that actually no, that, well, what would you argue about sort of the issues of fate and free will that implies in astrology?
I actually try to transcend beyond surface level debate of fate and free will,
Mm.
and I call it an evolution.
Okay.
Um, and astrology itself, in India, Jyotish is a very holistic form of astrology where you can do psychological astrology, you can do predictive astrology, you can do
Okay.
mundane astrology, you can do horary astrology, you can do evolutionary astrology. It's very uh, natural for Jyotish to kind of lend itself into
Hmm.
various way of practices. So there are techniques that help us practice different forms of astrology. If someone doesn't want to kind of get into predictive astrology, it's totally fine. They can always do psychological astrology.
Hmm.
Uh, they can always do evolutionary astrology, talk about the purpose of someone's life, and use the four philosophical pillars of Indian astrology, which is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma is righteousness, artha is objective or purpose, kama is desire, and moksha is liberation. So how we transcend different facets of these four pillars during the time of our human experience, because the Indian tradition, the Vedic tradition itself, implies that a person is just born, but he probably had many human experiences before, and probably has many human experiences in the future as well. So karma and reincarnation plays a very, very important role. And karma is, I mean, I won't say that the Western tradition doesn't have a good understanding of karma, but it actually goes much deeper than what people understand and talk about. It's just more than far more than just actions have consequences.
Okay.
So it's beyond the idea of debit and credit.
Okay.
So yeah, it transcends across human lifetimes, and the Indian tradition believes in this idea of soul, which is called as this symbolic body or something like that, and then there is this physical body. So once this soul just kind of transcends from one body to another body with each and every lifetime, and accumulation of the karmic impressions adds to the upcoming lifetime or lifetimes. So
right. Okay.
So all this is kind of answered through astrology, and so Indian astrology is more about understanding a human's presence in this particular human experience, where this body and the internal soul is basically experiencing the fixed truth through the dynamic truth or expressions or experiences.
Wow.
So,
okay. I think I understand you. Yeah.
So it's basically it's, if you go to Plato talks about being and becoming. One is omni fixed, it doesn't change. What is being is just is, and what is becoming is never is. It is just constantly changing. So we are always kind of having these two paradigms that we are living our life through. And this is where theory of forms come in. I don't want to get into all those things, but again, I'm just saying that there is a parallel tradition of consciousness that kind of basically divides something that is always fixed and something that is always variable. So it's not very unique to Indian tradition. It is also there, and Indians explored it very deeply. In the West, it found different forms of expressions, but Plato is the closest to the Rig Vedic expression itself. So,
okay.
Yeah, but it's that's what we're working with, finding our own role in this world, in this humongous cosmos that can never be measured, and we are just one intelligible but still nanomicroscopic part of this huge cosmos.
Indeed.
And it will be very rude to say that we have control over our life.
Yeah, I love that. It would be rude. Yeah, I see that. Yes, it's a bit insulting to the.
How dare we are? No, yeah, that's true. That's
but also it would be
true.
foolish to say that we don't have control over our life. That's what I'm saying. Life is a mix of fate and free will. But again, we have to transcend that, because we know that it's a mix of fate and free will. So there is no point in this is just my opinion. There's no point in having an argument about whether there is fate or free will. I mean, there is just a lot of things that we cannot change.
There's a mixture, probably a mixture of that. I always believe that there is an end waiting
Yeah.
for us, but how we reach that end is in the end in our hands. Sometimes because we can interfere, no, or
Yeah.
intervene the moments, because you make decisions, and that's
Yeah.
you are doing that, not the fate is doing that. I think that's your free will, but the fate is like, I'm going to die at the age of 80. 80 is there, done, the moment that you are born. That's my belief
Yeah.
also. It's like how you go there is like, I think, changes during the life course.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just find it hard to kind of understand when people say that we can control everything. I just don't believe that. Like, this is not part of the philosophy at all. Even the every tradition says that we have control only over our mind and our own response to the external stimulus, whatever it is. And this is the crux of Stoicism. And but that's just my opinion. I don't mean to kind of disrespect people who think there is 100%
No,
free
no,
will.
no.
It's their own way of looking at this world. But I have a very, you know, yeah, I stick to the ancient views, which kind of appeal to me. Let's put it that way. I don't want to say what is correct or what is wrong. Who knows, after all?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's actually, well, it's fascinating. Thank you. But I want to come back to this image of you kind of as a child at home, kind of growing up in this astrology
Ah,
household. And just get a picture. Obviously, you were probably a really good student at school, and I don't know, Terry
not
said
at all.
no? Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay.
He's a banker that he did the, I think at the end of the day you were in corporate world, no, at the end of the day, and
Yeah,
you
so
just left your job. Wow, how did that get into that? And
how
yeah,
did you get
it's
first into banking to start with? I mean, you don't sound like a banker at all now. And then how did you, yeah, leaving banking is more understandable.
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. I I was a I was a very reluctant student at school.
Okay.
I did not like what I was studying, and I was very average or below average in what I was doing as a student.
Wow.
But I ended up kind of improving a little bit, um, uh, because at the end of the day, I need to kind of have some form of education. So
Yes.
basically the necessity forced me to kind of get better. Let's put it that way. But again, I I kind of did my um, undergraduation in commerce,
Okay.
and then I finished my master's degree in finance. And then I also did a master's degree in labor management, and I
Okay.
ended up working in a yeah, I joined an investment bank in 2011 October, and that kind of took me to different investment banks across the world. So I worked in the U.S. markets, Canadian markets for 3 years, U.S. markets, I don't know how long, Australian markets for at least a year, and then European markets for 6 years.
Okay.
Um, so I was, yeah, I know the financial markets a little bit. I really like economics, and yeah, I think that took me to investment bank. I had a very fruitful career, but it was a very, as you can imagine,
Mm.
it was a very, very demanding career. So I had a lot of, I used to work for 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day, which was a big pain, and it became very unsustainable.
Mm.
And my health took a major hit in 2023, but I also kind of had a uh, kind of a return of some problems in 2025.
Mm.
And it made me realize that, okay, this is fine. I need to do astrology because I was having a parallel astrological studies and practice for, I mean, I started working in 2011, but I started doing astrology before that, studying I started reading charts even before I finished my first astrology book, because that is how astrology started in India. Like we just kind of watch and learn. My great uncle just took one astrology notepad that a client brought in, and he just threw it to me and asked me to read it, and that is when everything started. So you just push the child into the water and ask it to swim, and there is no other option. So that is how I kind of learned astrology. Hearing, talking, listening, and doing, basically. So I think it was a great privilege. I'm not taking it for granted even for a second. And I'm always kind of really aware of the fact that how lucky I am and I was at that particular point in time. And I started writing a lot when I started studying books. I started writing. It was a really important practice for me. Like whenever I study something, I write an article or a small blog about it. So at that time, I used to have a WordPress blog, and this was around 2013, 14, 15. And then around, I think it was 2016 or 17, I started writing on Quora. I was a very, very serious writer on Quora. I don't know how many people are aware of it, but there was a website called Quora.com where people kind of write. It's not the same platform anymore. But anyway, I used to write there. And then I kind of found Facebook. And then I came into Facebook, I think somewhere around 2017 or 18, where I became really important part of it became a really important part of my life when I started interacting with other astrologers from across the world. And that opened me up to various other astrological traditions. Because from 2010-11, I was just studying Indian astrology, writing WordPress blogs. I probably wrote like at least 100 blogs before my Quora over the course of 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
And then Hellenistic, thanks to Chris Brennan and his podcast.
Indeed.
His interviews with Ben Dykes, his book. And then Dykes' translations, and many other people, all that I mentioned. So, yeah, I naturally kind of gravitated towards bringing in all these ancient traditions into my study and practice. And here I am today. I quit my full-time corporate job in 2025.
Okay.
May, and it's exactly 1 year. I mean, it's May 12th when I actually resigned.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm
First
disappointed.
anniversary.
Congratulations. We don't have any champagne, but yeah, I will
I didn't
drink some
realize
later
until
for
now.
you.
I was just looking at the day. Oh my God, it's May 12th. It was full moon last year on May 12th, and I put in my resignation.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I had chosen an election for full moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Good for you.
Ending things in
Yeah.
a steady way.
yeah.
So all these astrologers, did they kind of like say anything about you at birth? Are there kind of predictions that have so far been fulfilled? Like, oh yes, well, Ashwin, he's gonna be a banker and then he's gonna give
My
up.
grandfather's brother, he had written in the diary. Every astrologer has a diary, so they write the astrologers within the family. They write the charts of everyone within the family, and this person had written that Jathakan Jyotidam Arivan, which means this native will learn astrology. It was written in that note, and this was written in 1988 when I was born.
Wow.
So, it is so fascinating to kind of know that in hindsight.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Yeah.
So what do you think he saw in your chart that led him to say that?
I think
Is that, first of all, sorry, but yeah, okay, that's the question. But is your chart in that he would have drawn up the Jyotish chart, that does it look the same as the Western chart? No. Okay. So I need to ask
24
you how
degrees
they're
of
different, but
difference.
then also what he saw that would have led him to say that you were going to, learn astrology.
8th house. In
Okay.
India,
Wow.
Indian astrology, 8th house is the house of astrology. and
Okay.
I have a very prominent eighth house, and my eighth ruler is in the first house with the moon.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's yeah,
There.
that's it. So I mean, even in tropical zodiac, you will find my eighth house slightly prominent.
Okay.
So
it uses the sidereal zodiac or
Yes, I do.
yeah,
right,
sidereal
okay.
zodiac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
so how did you
that
come
was it.
to, yeah, how did you come, I mean, like I understood that you started interacting with other astrologers and astrology, but you are like, I mean, when we look that Allison had written to you also, we were like, wow, it's like Ashwin is everywhere. It's like you're in
Yeah, I'm all
APAI,
over the
you're
place.
in
That's the problem.
CAPISAR, no, not all over the place, everywhere, but not all over and also APAI, and yeah, you are like in the board, writing, editing, you know, how do you do that? I mean, I hardly write
Oh,
an
yeah,
article a
that's
year. How do you do all of this?
Uh,
It's
I don't know. I
impressive,
think
I mean.
it's just I think I'm lucky to fall into the hands of safe. I mean, fall into safe hands at all the time. So many people played a very, very important and a very influential role positively in my life, and I think that has led me to many places. So I think that's all I can say. I mean, at the end of the day, I have to put my own work. I cannot just kind of sit back and relax when people have so much faith in my work. So I try to kind of reciprocate the kind of faith that people have in my work. So yeah, I was APAI was it was in 2022, towards the end of 2022, I think. I joined APAI, and I've been there. I mean, I'm still there, so I'm there in the council, and I kind of I'm part of the editorial board of the APAI's quarterly journal,
Kenan is
which
there
is
also, no? You are at the moment together with Kenan with the Chronicles, etc., right? Doing
yes. So the
the
Chronicle, yeah, you're right. The APA Chronicle is the journal that API puts out once in every quarter, and I'm part of the editorial board.
wow.
Yeah, and yeah, I work with a few other people like Kenan, uh, Linhold, Sharon Knight, so many other people out there. So yeah, CAPISAR happened in 2023, I think, when Patrick Watson and Michelle Gould asked me if I could do something for CAPISAR. I did not end up doing what they wanted me to do, but I did something else. But yeah, I think it's for good. Like they asked me to very kindly. They asked me to host this CAPISAR podcast, which began in July 2025.
Okay. Interesting.
And it started kind of doing well, which also was really a good experience to interact with many other astrologers. And yeah, that's it. I'm not everywhere. It looks like I'm not everywhere. Yeah. I
and
teach
now
a
you are
course in Kepler
completing your
College.
PhD, you are completing your doctorate.
Yeah, hopefully I will defend my thesis by the end of this year, God
Wow.
willing. Uh, I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, but anyway, yeah, I will have to defend by the end of this year, and hopefully it will be well received. And but the really important part of my life at this point is teaching
Okay.
the Indian astrology course,
Yeah.
which is kind of a flagship for me, and because I mean, it's taken me to very different directions of studying the Vedas, basically. Like, I'm not sure how many astrologers do that, but my entire course material has its foundation in the Vedas. For example, I kind of go back to research the archetypes and symbolisms and significations of the planets
Right.
from the Vedas, directly from the Rig Veda. So it's fully built on the Rig Vedic cosmology and metaphysics. and I'm looking to publish the first, I mean, not first, but just the 50% of the course material of year 1 course as a book, probably next month.
Okay.
Wow.
Gosh.
Next month.
And,
Okay.
yeah.
I
So,
think
yeah, I'm teaching, and I'm currently teaching 2 batches. Batch 1 is towards the closure. Batch 2 is midway, and batch 3 is open.
okay.
for
Fantastic.
enrollment.
So it sounds like you're actually still working 15 hours a day, but just doing something different. No. Okay.
No, not
Okay,
15
okay,
hours.
I believe you. You're obviously just much more very focused and efficient when you sit down at your desk. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to think so, at least. No,
Yeah,
I have my own problems, but yeah.
we all do.
I have a very strict calendar, so.
Okay. So we were asking you. Terry said the Sagittarius ascendant. So where else? I mean, what else is?
Sagittarius Sun.
Oh, the Sagittarius sun, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
It's,
yes.
I think tropical zodiac is 11 degrees Gemini rising.
Okay.
Moon in Taurus. I think 28 degrees-ish. I don't know.
Okay.
Or 24 degrees. Yeah. 24. I'm not
24
sure.
degrees for us. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you normally think about your own chart in terms of the Jyotish astrology, do you? When you think about you know what suits you and where you're going and you look maybe you know transits for your own future, do you think about that in terms of the Jyotish rather than the Hellenistic?
No, I actually Hellenistic, everything kind of comes in, but I just use the sidereal zodiac. I don't switch the zodiacs for natal astrology.
Okay.
Whatever tradition that I do, it's a blend. I don't look at the chart as a separate things. It's one
Right.
piece.
Right.
And at this point, uh, I mean, I've kind of come to a place where I don't want to differentiate any form of astrology. It's just astrology. So
Okay.
yeah, that is how I look at it. So yeah, I look at the time lots more importantly than the
Right.
transits. So there is a time lot system. There are like 50 time lot systems in India, in Indian astrology. But I look at Vimshottari and some conditional dashas as applicable conditional time lot systems based on the positions of planets. But I also look at primary directions
Okay.
and yeah, revolutions to some extent, the solar revolutions,
Okay.
solar
Gosh.
returns.
So much, yeah, okay. Solar returns,
Uh,
sure. So much to learn, though. Sounds fascinating.
With the Time Lords, I mean, for me, it's like I'm going through
yeah,
7 planets, and whatever comes later, I'm like, no, I don't want to know about it. Yeah, wow, it's
yeah. I
really
mean, not that I'm
probably
discounting.
requires a lot of studies, probably, and practice as well.
Yeah, I think we need to kind of start using the techniques in practice. Whatever we study, immediately put into use. That's how we learn. So there's no point in waiting. That's my philosophy. Whenever I kind of study something, immediately I write an article testing it. So when in doubt, I send it to Anthony Lewis.
Okay.
Yeah, especially when I'm writing primary directions. Yeah, Anthony Lewis. He'll tell me if there is something that's absolute nonsense. So he'll tell me. So
We
yeah.
can find your articles on your website if we want to know all about primary directions and things, can we?
No, don't go to my website for primary directions. I've written like
Okay.
6 articles. That's not all. But go to Anthony Lewis's for primary directions and get Mark Ganston's book.
Yeah, I have it. But I still probably don't understand it. I need to be told some of the things I need to be told instead of reading on my own. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a lot to be said for
but
being
I
told.
really love primary directions. It is,
Okay.
yeah, in my opinion, it is the most powerful technique in Hellenistic and Persian astrology.
That's
just me.
interesting. That's actually very inspiring to go and look at them, I must say. Yeah, okay. So if somebody comes to you for a reading, okay, it says on your website, I'm just looking at it now, book a session with Ashwin. Okay, so we can, okay, so where do you start? Where do you start? So it's going to be a sidereal chart that you put up to start with.
Yeah, sure. Sidereal zodiac, my approach is very, I try to make it very client-centric. Everyone does, but I kind of try to take some questions from the client. Every client has some questions, which is why they basically book a reading. So I take some pressing questions that they need answering. So I finish off all the objective answers that the client needs for their questions, or subjective answers, whatever it is, depending on the context of what they need. So I finish all those. Most astrologers, most clients need clarity on health, family, finance, and career. There's nothing beyond this. So 4 pillars of life. And the moment we address all of these, everything is done. So the client won't
So
have
in the
much.
family, you're talking about relationships as well, because that's
Yes.
a key one, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of look at the chart, and I have a sense of why the person is coming to me, and immediately the client asks questions, and we start looking at various aspects of the chart. Look at the Time Lord, what is happening, what are the placements in the chart, and how is the Time Lord placed in the chart, the condition of the Time Lord, whether there is opportunities, whether there is challenges, and how the client is needing to navigate based on the nature and quality of the time indicated by the planets. Break the larger portions of time into smaller portions of time, and give clarity for each and every small portion, be it months, be it 1 month, or be it 3 months, be it 6 months, be it a year. So if a client comes to me for a 1-year reading, usually I kind of give them some insight that kind of is good enough for 2-3 years. So I just try to break like every quarter, and first I talk about the entire flavor of the major Time Lord, and what the Time Lord is doing, what the planet is doing, how the planet is kind of calling the shots in the chart, and what is the nature and quality of that particular planet in terms of flavoring the particular time the person is living through, and then go to second level, and then go to third level, and then go to fourth level, and by fourth level you get into months, and fifth level you get into days. So you really won't miss it. So if the client wants a question that is very, very time sensitive, so someone comes and asks me like, there is an auction going on, and it is like 15 days from now, will I get it or not? Like, this is a very objective question. Like, you need to answer very objectively. It's just yes or no. You cannot kind of go here and there. But someone asked about like I'm carrying so much of burden. There's a lot of psychological pressure, and there you take a very different approach. Try to kind of truly paint the nature and quality of the planet, and give them astrological insights about how they can navigate through this particular phase, however long it is, and then again break into smaller pieces or smaller portions in terms of time, and give them really concrete insights about each and every smaller portions of time, so that they have good clarity. So they don't need to come to us for every 3 months, every 6 months. They have everything on record. Like, next 3 months, how is it going to be? Yeah, this is how it's going to be. Yeah, you're going through this North Node period, so this is how it's going to be.
Gosh.
Yeah, that is my approach. Like, trying to kind of look at the larger time frame and break those into smaller pieces.
Right.
With both subjective and objective opinions.
So how long does the average reading take? I mean, it sounds really interesting and detailed, the kind of material that you're covering.
Hours, probably. No,
sounds like it might
like
take
you have
no,
to,
no. I have readings for about, 1 hour. I have 1 hour readings and I have
Mhm.
90-minute readings. Yeah, I have I have I think I have 2 hour reading, which is a productivity reading. I also kind of do help people become more productive by helping them structure their calendar and routine based on the planetary periods. So
That sounds
that's
good.
and I have people who come to me for annual guidance, like they need some kind of support through the year. So I meet them 4 times in a year
Okay.
and try to kind of be with them through a longer period of time. It's where there is the scope for good astrologer client relationship to kind of build, where I don't really kind of put a cap on, okay, you can only come back to me 2 times. No, I'm available for my clients on emails, WhatsApp,
Right.
whatever it is. I'm basically kind of conversant with people, and I want to know what is happening in their life if they're willing to share. So I like to build relationships with people. I have
Right.
Venus in my 7th house, so I like to kind of yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's really
great.
nice.
I mean, like, it's fascinating. Yeah.
And I was going to ask something else. Oh yeah, you didn't actually tell us what your PhD is on. What you actually are preparing this thesis on?
My thesis is on drawing the similarities and dissimilarities between the 3 ancient traditions, Indian,
Okay.
Greek, and Persian, and also to kind of understand the nature and description of transmission of texts from one region to another.
Okay, so that's why you're so conversant with it and why you were able to give us so much information earlier in the interview. And I would also like to understand, where do your clients come from? Do you find you get a whole mixture of clients from all over the world? Because you're with Kepler College as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Somehow you managed to fit that into your schedule and
It's Kepler again, very fortunate. So Kepler College happened because of my collaboration with Tara All. We
Okay.
wrote a book together, Astrology by Moonlight.
Nice
So
title.
it was because of that book. Like we are kind of co-teaching over there, and I also teach for Astro College in Australia. Luke Bailey from Australia is the head of Astro College, Kepler College. Yeah, it's good to be there, and
Yeah, definitely. And all the time you're normally teaching Jyotish astrology, are you? That's what you generally teach. Yeah.
Yeah, I teach Indian astrology, but most people invite me to give talks on traditional mundane astrology, medieval mundane astrology, or Hellenistic or Persian astrology, which I enjoy really. And I have a plan to open up a subscription model, like $10 per month, and just put lectures every month on Hellenistic and Persian traditions on my website. But that's for later. I'm going to the UAC in September.
Are you? Okay.
That's great.
So I don't want to commit to anything before that.
No. So you're speaking at UAC?
I'm not speaking at the UAC, but I'm speaking at the org day that OPA is conducting at the UAC. So I am part of the OPA's panel, where OPA is flexing their muscles. So I'm also part of CAPISAR. So I really love being part of these communities and working with people.
Yeah. Well, OPA's great actually. I actually need to check if I've still got my membership up to date, but I really enjoyed it. There's a lot going on that site for sure.
They're good, really good. Yeah, their magazine is good. Their engagements for astrology is really commendable.
Yeah, it's good.
So
goodness.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it's like, that it has been amazing. Yeah, like we don't know how the time passed, and I think it's one of the I think that all our, of course, guests are very precious, but I think that we got illuminated a lot because the subjects that I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't study, like Hellenistic astrology or Persian astrology. I don't know Jyotish, etc. So for me to hear all these and at least to get a bit of crumb from everything, it's like
a bit of an
wonderful.
insight. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been really, really good, actually.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's
And so
wonderful.
nice to meet you and to get to know you as well, and to find out where you're coming from. And
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
It's been my pleasure having this conversation with both of you. It's been all about me, so I'm a little.
Well, that's what we're here for. That's absolutely what we're here for.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you.